So we're going to do a live of what we fear most. So we're going to do a live of what we fear most. So we're going to do a live of what we fear most. And sharing the live with some people. I'm hoping people can jump in, maybe. I don't know. You never know. So waiting for other people to get on. I am going to have some wonderful guests coming up this week, I'm hoping. One's going to be on finding your voice. The other one's going to be on special education, advocacy, all kinds of amazing things that are very important in our ascension, because a lot of these children being born are powerful star seeds. Powerful. And the egregore system of the 1% is ensuring that many of these star seeds who are coming in are where pharma is used to castrate their powers. Yep, lobotomizing their powers from the giddy up. There's so much I want to talk about, but I'm going to wait for more people to get on. And the subject today is what we fear most. What we fear most. So as I wait for people to get on, I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. And so let's see who comes on. And today, as you know, my subjects are about many things, but they all are interconnected to the ascension, all of it, if you notice, if you pay attention. And the ascension should be the primary concern for all of us, for ourselves, for the collective. The ascension piece of this journey is going to determine how we thrive individually and as a people. In other words, all your troubles, okay, all your troubles, all your concerns, people you love that are in jail, that you know shouldn't be in jail, but you know what brought them to jail, addictions, why addictions was necessary to numb out the pain. I'm going to tell you, I watched the documentary on Netflix of the Menendez brothers, and I'm going to tell you I'm very proud of us as a people. Because if you watch the Menendez brothers, Jay Leno, all these guys, all these people, Oprah, all these people were laughing, mimicking, pantomiming the Menendez brothers. And I'm urging you all to watch, not the movie Monsters, which is a bullshit movie. It's absolute bullshit. It was made to make money. Watch the documentary. And you will see what kind of justice system we have. Because I want you to pay attention to the second trial. What we fear most is not to be liked. What we fear most is to bring shame on our family. What we fear most is to lose any ties because we are a tribal people. That means that we need to belong, okay, to anybody, somebody. And when the Menendez came out, I'm telling you, watch the documentary on Netflix. Spend your little ducats, even if it's just for 1 month, to watch that documentary. Just pay the money and watch it. And watch it more than once if you can. And really pay attention to what happened with the second trial and what they did to those young men. And how we have demonized and lobotomized the veracity of men who have been molested as children. I was telling my friend Andromeda Flame about my twin, who was born in 1947, who was a boxer. He would go to the gym 5 days a week. And I knew this man. This was an older man. Let's call him Joe. So Joe was like 10 years older than my twin, born probably in the 1930s. And he would drive him, from the gym all the way to our house because we were in the middle of nowhere, because that's how I like to live. Anyway, so one day he drove him and something happened. He said, look, I don't know what's going on, but I'm having a breakdown. So they pulled over and he just started telling my twin how he had been essayed for years as a child in the 1930s into the 1940s. And how it had corrupted his entire life. and how it had made it impossible for him to have a healthy marriage. And my twin at the time was so holding on to his own shit. And he was always high on pot, constantly, because he had to be, because that's the only way he could function. That he couldn't see his reflection in that moment. He wasn't ready for it. That came later. And I said, my God, where have you been? I was worried. I thought there was a car accident or something. And that's when he told me the story. And the reason why I'm sharing all of this to you is because this morning, he came to me in my vision. And he said that one of my missions, that's how missions evolve, is to talk about this, to advocate for men who have gone through this. Because you see, it's one thing to have family values and to talk about it, but it won't do anything if people are afraid to just lay shit on the table. And so if you look at the trial in the beginning where those boys are so damaged, Stockholm syndrome on steroids, because the brainwashing happened from when they were children, babies, 5, 6, that they had been trained, brainwashed to be loyal beyond loyalty, and then something just clicked. So that even after the confession, and here comes another violation. Here comes another violation, because I'm talking about something that's important, because, honestly, our young people need to know this so they can have the strength to expose people that harm them. But okay, let's do a violation, and let's restrict the age so no one that's young, that's maybe vulnerable, can hear this particular talk. Let's keep fucking putting shit under the goddamn carpet. That's a good idea. When I post this live on YouTube, I want you to share it, because I want people to hear it. So the psychology of these young children, boys, so that when they had finally confessed, they were doing everything they could to never admit the truth. But thank God these female attorneys, because yes, we are high priestesses, and it is our job to open sacred space for men. Because when we were men, we needed that sacred space from our women. See, this is why reincarnation is the very epicenter of our freedom as a people. Because once you understand that empathy is easy, and the problem with how it was removed by Constantine, Emperor Constantine, in the Nicaea Council, meeting with the bishops, it was done purposely for many nefarious reasons. The Bible is not complete, and until it is, you got like the Cliff Notes, okay? And that's what a lot of people have lived their entire lives for fucking 2,000 years on Cliff Notes. Can you imagine that? It doesn't even work in English lit. Why would it work in life? But anyway, going back to these kids. So here they are, young men on a shopping spree, eating food that they want to eat because they were restricted by food. They were restricted on all kinds of shit. God knows. And they did not want to destroy the family, not its reputation. So what happened next is when they were finally cornered by very good, intelligent defense attorneys, females, with compassion, not men hating women, women who actually were fair about genders and issues and abuse and the multiple faces of abuse and how it shows itself. See, we need to be better as women, and we need to start calling women out with their bullshit. I'm so sick of these male-hating women. Are a lot of men toxic? Yes. Are a lot of women toxic? You fucking A, yeah. Are most people toxic? Yes. And you should be proud of yourself to look at your shadows and go within yourself, because you are rare. You're very rare. You take what you're doing for granted. It's a jewel that you have. But I'm going off, so let me go back on track. So finally, if you look at the scenes of them being interviewed on the stand, and they're expressing, it's almost like something is being pulled with a hook out of their bodies and they're almost shaking. No one acts like that's some serious. If that's acting, like, I want to know who's teaching those methods, because they're extraordinary. And when you see how they finally have to understand that they're already exposed, so that they might as well tell their story, and they do. And what comes after that? Jay Leno, shame on that piece of work, makes jokes about it and becomes something that the entire country laughs at. So the band members of Menudo, okay, I don't know if you guys remember the band, all young boys, had also been essayed by Jose. None of them came out to say anything, which could have changed the whole fucking dynamic of the first trial. Why didn't they come out and say anything? Well, guess what? They got to see how the world was laughing at the Menendez brothers, so why would they come out and say anything? They didn't want to look like assholes. They didn't want to be blackballed. They didn't want to do anything. And now here comes P. Diddy. Okay, finally, Justin Bieber. What do they all have in common? Justin Bieber. Look at the Menendez brothers in trial. What do they all have in common? Their heads are down. They can't even fucking look at anyone. Right? So in the first trial, 54 people, relatives, many of them relatives, psychologists, witnesses, really brave people, including one relative that talks about how one of the boys talked at 8 years old saying, "I'm being touched here by the father." And she confronted Kitty, and Kitty did nothing. In fact, Kitty was involved. She also abused the boys. So that right there would have shown that they weren't lying, because there was a story that was 12 years before anything happened. This little boy, I forgot which one, I don't know if it was Lyle or Eric, but one of them went to her and said, "This is what's happening to me." And he was kind of confused. When you look at the man's eyes, he looks like a demon. And I'm not saying that because I've seen people who were accused of shit like that. And I look at their eyes and go, wait, hang on, there's something else going on, because I don't see I don't think that person did it. I mean, I'm a psychic for a reason. Okay, I know when someone's lying, and I know when someone's not. I can tell from the tone of the voice if this is going to be a match or not. I mean, that's what I do. And I've been doing it since I was 2. My father, who was a businessman, used to ask me, I'm not joking, because I was like the stone who told the truth, you know? What do you think of this man? And I would tell him the truth. And he would go with what I said. From the mouth of babes comes truth. Listen to your children, because if they don't feel good about someone, you better trust that kid. Anyway, moving back to the trial. So the first trial was a deadlock. Did you know that? I didn't know that till yesterday. So it was a deadlock. It was a hung jury. 30 days and they couldn't come to a decision. And they were going after, this was Garcia. Some of these prosecutors have absolutely they're so corrupt, it's beyond the word. The word corrupt doesn't even, it's not a big enough word. Garcia was looking for the DATHA penalty, of course. Why not? And I have to say that they moved for a new trial. And in the new trial, none of the witnesses were brought. None of the essayed testimony was allowed. And then they were put to jail for, 50 years, life imprisonment. And the brothers were separated for 20 years. Different jails. It took them 20 years to finally be put in the same jail. Different floors, whatever, wings, but the same, 20 years of separation. And what came out of those 2 men is extraordinary. One became a painter, an artist. The other one became an advocate and works with men, incarcerated men who have gone through essay as children. It is our mission as a people to stop the bullshit, to really start talking about this, because what's happening is that the draconians, which David Icke talks in detail if you look at some of his old talks about reptilians and S8 of children and the root chakra and what happens, the benefits for the reptilians. Clearly, there's a benefit to humans, right? Because or else they wouldn't do it. But there's something about destruction. Chrissy Teigen's been called out on her weird ass posts and Twitters that she's, right? I'm sure you've heard about it. Some of them are so comfortable, they're saying shit in our faces. So this Diddy thing is interesting, but we need to throw the net wide and let them know without any hesitancy or shaking in our voice that this we do not consent, and you will be found and it will stop immediately. It stops now. And this is something you make a pact with yourself, for your family, for the collective, and planetarily, meaning on a galactic level. Then our children will not be harmed. It was great, Songs of Freedom, fantastic, bravo, yes, everyone was crying. And then crickets, fucking crickets. The reason why marriages don't work isn't what you think. It is so complex and dark, and it is preventing our ascension. It is preventing our ascension because when families break up, children are now exposed to other predators, and you are so busy trying to just keep it going, staying alive, making sure there's bread on the table, the rent or mortgage is paid, and you're just trying to keep it together. That prevents any one human being to thrive, to connect deeply with your children, to take long walks in the woods or on the beaches and have long conversations, to create magic for your children so they feel safe with you, so that they know no matter what they come to you with, you'll protect and believe them. You'll believe them over any other person ever. Something as small as your child coming to you and saying that that teacher is bullying me and making me laugh. The teacher is letting other children bully me in the classroom, like believing shit like that. We need to protect our men because the levels of abuses on boys is as grotesque and as prevalent as women. And I don't know what it is about us women. All I can say to you, my beautiful high priestesses and goddesses, is that maybe it's because we, from the time we were little girls, and this is one of the reasons I incarnated as a woman in this incarnation, not as a man, not this time. And by the way, I incarnated because I wanted to be sure to be in union with my twin. Because when we incarnate, on a side note, and I've seen a few clients tell me that and friends, that if I'm a woman, he's always the man. In this case, okay, in this case, that doesn't mean it's for everyone. There's some same gender twins and so on and so forth. But I chose to be a woman because I would be able to go through my own trauma, which is nowhere near some of the shit I've heard, and talk. And men are muzzled from the giddy up. They're shamed. They're laughed at. We saw the Menendez brothers, in skits, like Saturday Night Live skits. It's no wonder the Menudo kids didn't come out and say, wait, hang on, that happened to me too. Wait, hang on, that happened to you, that happened to me. And blow the case up. But that's not what happened because our society was, do you understand that? Our society was shaming us, created by the 1% movement using media in those days, right? 1993, right? You remember television, radio and television. That's all there was. There was no internet. I hope you remember that. So there was no other outlet of truth. So we were at the mercy of whatever they fed us. If they wanted to feed us a bowl of shit and tell us it was oatmeal, we had to eat it. And we did. And so that you got to understand. That's what happened. Now, in the documentary of the Menendez brothers, it says that it was TikTok. See how powerful you guys are? TikTok. And the young generations, the millennials, Gen Xers that were coming out, you know how a lot of you guys have like these crime shows, or you watch these real crime, shit like that, ran by, no offense to you guys, kids meaning young, 20s, 30s, curious as fuck, irreverent as fuck. Thank God for your irreverency. And putting two and two together and being very honest about your own essay trauma, some of you, or hearing your friends or cousins or brothers and sisters, right? And sharing and going, wait, hang the fuck on. What happened with this case? And it was the voice of the people that brought this case back to light, where they could be finally freed. It's extraordinary, our power. And it's funny because the theme of this live is what we fear. Don't you get that we need to be as fearless and irreverent as possible? That the very thing that was just a curious thing about looking at a case, it certainly wasn't the Charles Manson case, because we know what that is. There's a book about that, an MK Ultra called Chaos. It's the size of a Gutenberg Bible. It's 540 pages. $11 on Amazon. Chaos. We knew that was fuckery. All of you know that was fuckery. But you have to also understand the psychology of sick minds. I'm going to kind of bring something in that's a little off the track, but in the track. There was a book called Helter Skelter. It was about the Charles Manson, Charles Manson and his little group of thugs going out and ripping the lives out of people's hands. I hate the word unaliving, so I won't use it. Ripping the lives out of people's hands. Sharon Tate, all of that. That book was actually quite popular. It was a bestseller. I read it, I think, twice. Because I couldn't fucking wrap my head around someone that dangerously fucking crazy, ugly, physically ugly. On top of that, I was like, wait, I could see if he was a charismatic, beautiful. Again, I was 14 when I read the book, so excuse my trying to thinking this out and through at 14. But I had a friend who was 14, and she was in love with him. In love, obsessed, carved his name on her forearm. That was my first exposure to sick minds. That's when I first understood how women, and possibly men, but this was my experience with a young teenage girl, that the sickness could start as young as 14. And that's what exposed me to how minds go, where they go, how they can go. How could you read that book and fall in love with that man? I couldn't. If you've ever read Helter Skelter, you'd go, what the fuck? But here we are. So the brutality and the shadows that it can be, and they're not, some of them it's not even shadows, just overtly pure evil. And fascination with pure evil and harming innocent things, from a mouse to humans. Because you'll notice that people who are evolved won't even fucking kill a spider. They'll actually grab it, collect it, and release it, to be honest. But I digress. We fear not being liked. We fear not belonging. Belonging to what? A tribe of sickos that believe that this is okay, that it's too complex for you to understand what's happening, like, for example, what's happening right now in Gaza. It's just too complex. You don't understand the ins and outs. Well, I'm not educated enough in, sociopolitics in the Middle East and the conflict. You're not educated? A 6-year-old, if you put him in front of any of those images, would start sobbing and asking you, why are they doing that to those people? And because we're afraid of not belonging, there are many things that we could have stopped that we never stopped. Because we weren't sure that we were actually making the right thought form on a particular quote unquote complex idea. The Menendez brothers should have never gone to jail. They should have gone into a home to help them deconstruct the brainwashing that led them to that very fateful day. Right? Jail should have never been an option, much less the the capital punishment, much less that. And it's funny because the most malignant narcissist will to your face deny everything you know. Gaslighting, right? From that movie Gaslit. You should all watch that movie. If you've never watched it, you should watch it. I remember watching that when I was a teenager. And the term didn't come out until later, in my own conscious reality. Okay, it didn't come. I didn't know that term was used from that movie until, I think 15, 20 years ago. But my point to you is that what we have to be honest about is that there are people in power who are pure evil, period. There's nothing complex about it. And you don't have to have a PhD in psychology to know. Okay? If any of you are listening to me right now, just the fact that you're sitting here with me, listening to me, must mean it resonates with you, number one. Number two, it means that you're not like that. So you're trying to figure out, and this is a mistake many of you are making, you're trying to figure out, well, why are they like that? I would never want to know what goes on into the mind of a serial killer. Never. I don't give a fuck what's in that mind. All I know is this. This person was alive and now their life was stolen from them. Ripped out of their hands. That's all I got to know. And that person did it more than once. And that person went on a spree. Do I really need to understand why? So let's go back to the Menendez case. So do you really think that none of the people that were in that courtroom, right, that were involved in trying them and ripping out all the evidence on the second trial, you don't think they were in on doing those kinds of behaviors themselves? There's always a reason for people's dastardly, nefarious deeds. Always. It's not always about follow the money. Sometimes it's simply follow the sick psychology that would make somebody go against what you know is wrong. Just wrong. And the evil that, for example, is going on right now, for example, in Gaza, it's a macro of what's happening here. Just like with the Menendez, the fact that people across America were laughing at this, not believing them, denigrated them, destroyed men that could have come out of the closet to expose their own pain. And so they went deeper into the shadows of their own shaming, self-harming, self-shaming, which if they were married would destroy their marriage over time with addiction and self-hating and self-destruction and sabotaging happiness and love and connection. Not feeling safe. You have to understand in the 70s, 80s, 90s, if a woman was great, they looked at her background and asked what she wore. This is the society we used to live in. What do you wear? What were you wearing? I remember a particular grape trial where they actually showed her underwear in a plastic bag, as if this was evidence that she wanted it, asked for it. The beautiful thing about our new society, do you understand this is why we're ascending? We're already ascending as a people. You get that, right? Because there is a complete chasm the size of the fucking Grand Canyon. You and I are on one side and these demons, I'm going to call them that, are on the other. That's the separation that you're seeing happen. Because the people that are pro-Bibi Netanyahu, the shit they're saying in the face of what's happening to children. Okay, let's forget the adults. Children. And what they say is in their belief system is you can never understand that. And it's not your job to understand that. That's not your job. Your job is to understand that this is wrong. It's toxic as fuck. It's dangerous to our own safety. It's like letting your dog that you've always loved, and now it has rabies. It has rabies, and you love that dog. That dog doesn't even fucking know you anymore. It's insane with rabies, and it's dangerous, and it could harm you and your family. Why would you let the dog in your house? You love that dog for 10 years, but now that dog is dangerous. Does that make sense? Should we crawl into the dog's mind and find out why it has rabies and what happened and what was the trauma that created rabies, that it would expose itself to rabies? Are we that dumb that we would actually go excavate that scenario? No, but it's that simple. Some things are actually black and white. There's no nuance to it. It's black and white. That's it. That's that. There was an attorney that you'll see who was a prosecutor in the Menendez case who's an asshole. Okay? She's a complete asshole. She's a judgmental little sick chick. And she said, a lot of us get, molested. A lot of us get AC'd. We don't go out and do what we did to our parents. You can't compare what some of us have gone through, which was here and there, to what they went through their entire awaked life. I doubt it started at 6. I don't believe it. I think that's when they remembered when it started. Okay, let's just get that straight. And I'm not here to tell them what they thought. All I know is that at 6, that's an appropriate time to start remembering trauma. But I really don't believe it started then. I think it started from the very fucking beginning. So now there's a somatic training and there's an emotional training. It's all brainwashing. And we don't know what that would do to someone. As a matter of fact, I invite you to watch the interview with Regina Meredith on Gaia.com. Regina Meredith on Gaia.com with Teal Swan. Watch that. That'll blow your fucking mind. That is a very, very, very important interview. Because somehow, some way, and she's a powerful soul and she has shadows in her. You can see it. But I'll give her my hats off because that chick fucking deconstructed what was done to her. Okay? And she was a golden child to them. You fucking believe that, what I just said? Golden. Okay? We need to not only educate ourselves so that you're comfortable in speaking out against this shit. Okay? And the more we roar, and the more we push, and the more you create content, and the more you do podcast, which I have to get off my ass and get together to do a lot of content that is really politically, in their minds, incorrect. And you know what I'm saying? Because I am sick and tired of using the word grape. Fruits for something that fucked up. That there's a lot of things there's a lot of work to be done energetically through your meditation, through your manifestation of the new earth. Most of our problems will end when we're in 5D. Your money problems will end. Your connection with your twin or a high level soulmate, whoever, whatever, your children, whatever, adult children, young children, will end once we're in 5D. Why? Because there will be a collective sigh of relief because now we're no longer part of a system that is that fucked up, that has kept us, many of us who are boomers, asleep for fucking decades. Okay? And you young, physically young souls who are ancient souls who have rested for 400 years to get it together to come here and start kicking down doors. Chapeau to you. Bravo. But us who are boomers need to remember all the old stories, okay, so that we can share it as intel to the young ones kicking down the door so they have even more intel, more ammo against the machine. Does that make sense? That's our job. And it's our duty. Okay, let me see. Any comments? And that's why we have so many people unaliving themselves, by the way, on the side note. Any questions or comments? Let me see. I'm trying to find. Too busy surviving. Exactly. That's by design. By design. Everything's by design. They don't want us to think. They don't want us to gather and create our tribes. They don't want any of that shit. Educated or not, Geno is no brainer. It's just wrong. Why can't people see that? They can't see that because they are under this, many of them are under this idea that this will bring Yeshua, like he's going to walk in on that shit show. And like I said in one of my last lives, I said, what did I say, right? I said, okay, so here's Yeshua. He's with Mary Magdalena. His father is Joseph, who has brothers, and of course the extended families was normal in that part of the world. and all over the world, as a matter of fact. And then you've got Mother Mary, and she's got sisters, and you've got, Yeshua had a brother, right? We know that for a fact. And so then what happens? So he goes off and does his thing, whatever you believe in, whether he died on the cross or not. It's none of my business to tell you what to believe in on that one. I can tell you my opinion. But anyway, so from the cousins of his lineage comes 2,000 years of Palestinians. And after what Bibi and his little cohorts have done, and believe me, there were people who had the DNA of the original bloodline from that family. And I can tell you, it's fucking gone. It's no different than what happened when the birth of Moses was prophesied, and they went out to rip the lives of the firstborns. Right? And I can't tell you how that has shook me. The realization that there was somebody out there, probably a whole family, who had that DNA spinning in their blood, spinning in them, who may have had his nose, his lips, his eyebrows, maybe even the way he smiled, destroyed. Do you really think he's coming back physically? Not a shot in hell. He said, I came as a lamb and I will return as a lion, and that's us. And I've been saying that for almost a year, more than a year, before even Gaza exploded in our laps, for us to see what apartheid looks like in Technicolor with sound. No smell-o-vision, just sound and color. And many of us who are talking about it are being shadow banned, because if I'm not throwing tarot to entertain, like some kind of gladiator in the circus, I'm not part of the game. And unfortunately, all of us are going to have to push against the machine. The more we push against that wall, the more the wall will topple. And they just gave me the image of the walls of Jericho with the trumpets, which was, as you remember the story, they were told, and I again, this is all shit I learned from when I was in school, in the Lutheran school in Hong Kong, right? So I haven't read the Bible since then, the Old Testament, but I remember the concept of sound frequency to destroy the walls of Jericho. Sound frequency. Here, we are being given tips. We're being given intel on the power of frequency, of sound, of our intentions to create egregores. I've been using that term egregore a lot lately for a reason. So nothing was done overtly with anything that would be of mass, destruction. You get it? It was done with frequency. And that's what we need to understand. The power for us to push by creating content, by blogging, vlogging, whatever, by reposting like motherfuckers. Just keep reposting. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just repost. Start blasting the algorithm. Start uploading on your Facebook, on your Instagram. Just post until people wake up. Because any human being that can look at those visions, like my aunt, yes, I'm going to throw her under the bus, like my aunt in France, who actually supports this apartheid system, there's something wrong. These are corrupted people. They're corrupted. There's a virus in them. There's a sickness in them where they can't understand the most basic thing. And it's people like that are not going to, they can't. Don't you understand the frequency of 5D? It's not a match. That's why Atlantis exploded, because you had people in a consciousness of 5, 6D and a little, and some above that, believe it or not. And there were reptilian Atlanteans who were in 2D on the same soil. It couldn't, it had to just rip apart. That's exactly what happened. Right? That was one of the things, one of the many things that created the final deluge, you know? And so that's what we need. We need to be fearless. We cannot be afraid of losing, quote unquote, friends, family. She's my aunt in this incarnation. Who gives a fuck? That doesn't mean she's my aunt, my blood for all my incarnations. I have better friends that are my soul tribe sisters and brothers. And we have nothing in common when it comes to bloodlines and DNA. Nothing, absolutely nothing. But we have such a soul connection, and we are tribe members to each other. They are my true brothers and sisters, my true mothers, my true aunts and uncles. That's where we need to get to. And so that takes fearlessness and not being afraid to say the wrong thing and making excuses like, I'm not educated in that. You damn right. Do you know black and white? Do you know right and wrong? Because it's really, sometimes there's no nuances whatsoever. So let's bring back the Menendez brothers. There are nuances in that one. Why? Well, because they ripped the lives out of their parents. Did they deserve it? I would say you as parents created what came at you. You created that. What did you think? It was going to end well? They were either going to take their own lives or take other lives. I'm shocked they only stayed right there in that living room. It's a good thing they didn't go off on a fucking spree. And they could have. People do. But it didn't happen like that. Every rage that went from the time they dropped into these bodies and the absolute betrayal of their innocent lives culminated in that moment. Is it nuanced? To some level, yes. Because what do we do? Do we let them go? Yes. Yes, there are certain times where you do let them go. In other words, but you let them go where you put them in a hospital, and hospitals are questionable, to be honest, because it's a hit or miss, and you guys know that. And getting the care they need until they can go out in the world and create a new life for themselves. So in that way, that is it's nuanced steps of healing, holistic healing, emotional healing, somatic healing, things that we're still kind of, no offense, as a people, we're not getting that. We're not offering real healing to people who need real healing. And it means Reiki. It means chakra work. It means teaching and meditation, pranayama, connecting with Mother Earth, silent retreats, circles of talks for years until they can be right. And somehow these two men look like they've done some massive work on their own. It's extraordinary. It shows that their souls were good. Their egoic system was corrupted with fear, self-loathing, and shaming. But when they were finally on their own, do you know what they said to one of the attorneys? That's going to be hard for you with the way you lived and your luxury and the food. And you know what one of the brothers said? Believe it or not, I feel much better here than being at home. That hit me like a cross in my heart. Because I thought to myself, my God, jail is supposed to be the worst place on the planet. This is better than home? So we need to, as a people, realize that it's okay to be afraid to be alone. But to be honest, you will not be alone because your frequency will be so high in your integrity, in your demand to be honorable in the choices you make and how you expose, protect, talk about injustice, that your tribe members will be attracted to you. You'll be like magnets, and your true family will be brought to you. You'll never really be alone. Not for long. Does that make sense? Same. All right? This is an important topic. It is. And I woke up this morning educated. Yeah. So any questions or comments? And it's sad, right? Because if I had a sign, if I had like a drawing of the Menendez brothers right now, I would have like, I don't know, maybe 70 people. But to be honest, I'm not going to use them to, not in this case, because I'm not trying to save a life. They're going to get out. There's no doubt in my mind. But I'm not going to say to try to clickbait you guys. You're either going to be connected to my voice, to the art, to the message, and that's it. There is all kinds of little tricks I could play, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not here to just fucking waste your time for hours and have a revolving door of people listening to me and sending me gifts until I have like 190,000 K likes or whatever. That's not the point of these conversations that I have with you. The point of these conversations is to give you the strength, the irreverence, and the fearlessness you need to go forth and plant the seeds of our new earth. And to give people the strength to do the same. Remember the trumpets of Jericho. It's very interesting how some of these ancient books gave us clues of our power. And we try to use it, oh, well, it's just a metaphor. No, it's fucking not a metaphor. Not at all. Not at all. He turned water into wine. No one can do that. Oh, really? Why not? Why not? There is no reason why not. There's none. It's funny. There was a show I used to love as a little girl called Bewitched. I was 12, 14. Love that show. But remember, she'd wrinkle her nose and she would turn somebody into a frog and she fucked up on that thing. It's a perfect example of what happens with the monkey mind. And I'm repeating myself, but lean in. Listen to what I'm saying. Lean in. In her wrinkling her nose and turning a man into a frog instead of, say, shutting him up, right? They were without them knowing, they were showing us how the monkey mind delays our manifestation. Because our monkey mind is so fucking chaotic in our heads that the reason why we can't manifest a table on the spot it's not because we can't do it. It's because the monkey mind collides with our soul's ability to manifest. Does that make sense? And that's what starts happening when we go into 5D, 6D. The monkey mind is absolutely not at all in control. Not at all. The false ego is no longer in control. And we can manifest a chair on the spot. Rocking chair, whatever, blue chair, Adirondack chair, any fucking chair you want. Because the monkey mind is now the servant in obedience to the soul. And so at that point, the soul's power, our innate power is to manifest at will, turning water into wine. That was what Yeshua learned when he went into India and then crossed into Tibet. Remember the 3 wise men? You think those are parables? They were from the East, my friends. To remind his parents, when he's ready, bring him to us, we will train him. Those are the things that you download and you start connecting the dots. Does that make sense? That's why meditation is so important. Does that make sense? And so that's where we need to be as a people. Fearless, irreverent. And you will be made uncomfortable. Racism will be coming up in your lap. Sexism. Homophobia. It's okay to be politically incorrect, to speak. Sometimes the only truth is a stone that falls in the pond. It's like, fuck it. I'm about to be politically incorrect. I was just talking to a friend/client and I said to her, you know how I'm blunt? She goes, yeah. I go, do you realize I always say I'm about to be politically incorrect? She goes, yeah, you do warn us. I go, yeah, I warn you. And then I fucking just say it. Because sometimes the only way to say it is to fucking say it. Learn how to do that. And then there might be a little fisticuffs, meaning, of verbal volleying back and forth. And then a clarification of what that means will come in a group setting or you and another person, and there will be clarity and respect. But we are being trained to be politically correct to the point where we don't even know how to communicate truths. And some truths are so ugly that all you can do is talk about the ugly truth of a reality. And that's it, and that's that. Sorry. That's how it's going to have to be. So if you want, you could preface anything with, I'm about to be politically incorrect. Do what I do. And then just fucking say it. Just throw that stone in the pond. Because we don't have the time to cater to people's toxic fears of truth. Because if they really wanted the truth, you would have to have that fucking conversation in the first place. Isn't that ironic? So that's where we need to get as a people. Does that make sense? Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Okay. Well, Rachel, anything? So we are going to have some lives. One's going to be about homelessness. Another one's going to be about actually exposing your voice to the world. And the next one is going to be about education, the educational system in this country. With a person who's a PhD in psychology, an amazing soul. And we've got some wonderful people about homelessness. There's no need to educate yourself on the basic concept of right and wrong. You either know this shit or you don't. That's it. It's that simple. Don't complicate shit. Don't let people complicate shit, period. Don't let people muzzle you, corral you into not being comfortable or confident in the truth of what's wrong, of what's unjust, of corrupted lies, of lying by omission. Lying by omission is still lying. It's still a lie. And this concept of being fearlessness, of being irreverent, of realizing that your voice matters. This is going to be the most important incarnation you have to date. In any of the incarnations you've had as human, this incarnation is the one where you define how you allow yourself to express your truths and the truths with a ferocity that shakes people to either awaken or run from you. Who gives a fuck if they run from you? You're interested in those leaning in towards you who want more, because your truth is nectar. Their souls are starving. They're hungry for the truth. And here you are coming into their path, and you've been teaching yourself to be that voice. It could be on an airplane, on a train, on a bus, standing in line in a cafe. It could be for 1 hour or 2. Your electrician, your plumber, your carpenter, it doesn't matter. Every seed you plant is a seed that will either thrive or fail. It doesn't matter. What matters is what thrives. Don't worry about what doesn't take root. That doesn't matter. But once you actually activate this muscle and you start being more and more confident in how you spin, because it is a spinning. You have to be depth. You have to have this agility with the way you share these truths. And as you practice, you'll become better and better. And you will have aha moments. As you're speaking out loud, you'll be downloading new information from light beings. You won't know it, or you may go, oh, wait, hang on, I'm getting a download. Yeah, that download is being set by your light team. And they're there to help you. But if you keep muzzling yourself because you're afraid of being ostracized, then you're missing the point of the plot of the ascension. You're missing the complete path that you chose when you took on this incarnation, when you said, yes, I volunteer. You wouldn't be listening to me if that was not true. For Christ's sakes, how many people are here? 8? So it's not like there's you realize we only need 144,000. It's a magic number. But that's all we need to topple the 1% machine through the concepts of Jericho's trumpets, frequency, talking, sharing, articulating, showing, encouraging, connecting, and creating real tribes, real family members that are spread all over the world, that some of them you've met already and you know who they are, and some you have yet to meet. Divine appointments yet to be had. Getting on airplanes across continents. Being led to it because you don't know why, but you're being led to that fucking... Get on that fucking plane, girl. Guy. Get on that plane. You've got divine appointments. It's all connected to the ascension. And without you, we're fucked. It's that simple. So 8 people turns into 8,000 people, into 80,000 people, into 800,000 people. We don't need more than that. Shit, we don't even need more than 144,000. That's how powerful we are as high priestess and priestesses. This is the egregore that needs to be birthed. Okay? Let me share any comments. Any comments? Welcome, Robert. So, any other comments? Any ideas? What keeps you from talking? What keeps you... Are you guys here? I want you all to say something like, yes, I'm ready, or I claim it, or yes, this is mine. Yes, I'm doing this. Please type in to encourage others to see it. Because when I upload this, it won't be seen. Just so you know. You know that, right? Whatever I upload on YouTube, it doesn't get seen. But go ahead and share with everyone right here, this little tiny circle of people that have for some reason stepped in. Say it. I claim it. This is me. Yes, this is my path. Yes, I'm going to do this. And it will encourage others. Okay? And I will read it out because I want that to be, I'm a chosen one. No, the window guy, you're not chosen. Sorry. Let's not do this. You're a volunteer, which is more badass. Let's not like kiss our own asses. If no offense. I'm sorry. People that say we're chosen, they're kissing your ass. You weren't chosen. You're a volunteer. You volunteered. A lot more badass than I was chosen. Because it shows that all the other souls stepped back and went, fuck this. Yeah, I'll come in when it's 5D. And we all stepped forward and said, I'll do it. Let's stop the bullshit. Any content creator that's kissing your ass, 5 reasons why you're the chosen one, step the fucking way. Step away from those people. I'm being straight up with you. Because we were volunteers. Okay? Let's not feed the black wolf. Let's feed the white wolf. Let's feed the wolf of humility, of power, of using power with justice in our hearts, with fearlessness, with irreverence. Let's not fear the wolf of greed, of avarice, of ego. Yes, I'm chosen. Yes, I come from royal bloodlines. Yes, I'm good. I'm better than the others. Let's not do that. We've seen what that looks like. We're actually seeing it right now in action. Okay? We are doing this. I'm doing my part. Thank you. Sorry, Tony, I missed the first part of the live, but my intuition says I'm in. Oh, thank you, Stacy. I'm the chosen one. Feed my ego equals feed my ego. The truth. Yeah, I don't want to be hard. I know I come off hard because I'm not here to kiss your ass. No offense. And you're not here to kiss mine. Okay, so let's just get that straight. This is a round table discussion. Unfortunately, it's a one-way discussion because until I can get some guests coming on, which I'm going to do soon. But it's a one-way. But trust me when I say this is a round table type of talk. I have full confidence that you and I know the same things and that you and I are desirous of the same type of new earth I'm visualizing. Why do I know? Because I speak to clients all over the world and they actually share with me their vision, and it's like it shakes me to the core with joy that it's exactly what I'm visualizing. You can't make this shit up. We all want the same thing. Okay? It's quite beautiful, actually. And that's why I know we're doing well. All right? And thank you, the truth. So, no offense, but I'm not here to tell you that you're chosen or you come from royal bloodlines. And I know there's one content creator that I adore. His name is Astral Legends. He's on TikTok and YouTube. Wonderful content on starseeds and so forth. And he does break down royal lineages, but you have to understand carbon royal lineages. Carbon. Okay, carbon matter, right? Not don't confuse that with our souls. Our souls are, we don't need a royal banner or emblem or crest to make us beautiful and fantastic in our humility, in the powers we wield, similarly to Buddha or to Krishna and Yeshua. None of them wielded a crest or a crown. They didn't need to. When you know you're doing the right thing with love in your heart, you don't need those titles, right? Why would you ever pick up such a title? Why would you ever do that? You're better than that, actually. You're actually better than that. You don't need to have your ego stroked. Oh, I come from a royal lineage in Pleiades. Okay. Who told you that? Oh, I had a reader. I had an Akashic reading who told me that. A real Akashic reader would never tell you that. Never. They might tell you came from the Pleiadian, and yes, you were of royal, but, and they would say to you, but don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. That was just a past life. I've had past lives as a queen. That doesn't make me a queen today, and it doesn't fucking matter anyway. At all. Because there are queens that are assholes. So now what? Right? Doesn't mean shit. What matters is your heart coming from the purest intent for the good of all, not just for yourself, but for all. There's this guy that has these weird ideas about, power couples. It's me and my woman against the world. Like, really, you're battling the world? Me and you against the world? If a man ever came up to me and said, I just want you and it's going to be me and you against the world. Why are we battling the world, my love? What kind of war do we have here? Why would we do that? Did you see Yeshua and Mary Magdalene battling the world? They were trying to unify the world, which made them dangerous, right? To a certain sect of people, okay? It's fucked up. Kindness, peace, grace, the truth. Yes, thank you, Robert. So I want to thank you all. I hope this was helpful, and I hope it gave you some fire, some beautiful fire in your mission. And we're going to have to, as the high priestesses that we are, and you guys know the video I had that I created about the high priestesses and the warriors that were wounded in wars. I asked you to look for it because I'd like you to send it out to women who really have a problem with us being the teachers of men. Why are we that? Because we are the high priestesses who are psychic, who bring stability to homes. The man is there as a protection, as a support, as a partnership that is like such a yin and yang energy, but it's like it flows because one brings creativity and nurturing and love, and the masculine is taught to be nurturing, is taught to release his fears of being vulnerable, and yet he rises back on his, from his knees in being, what's the word I want to use? Vulnerable, naked before the feminine, the divine feminine, and she gives him that strength to go back out in the world and to be the magician to her high priestess energy. And it's interesting because Teal Swan had an amazing. And I'm not a follower of Teal Swan. In fact, I'm going to tell you straight up. There are parts of her there was a time where I didn't like her, period. But like I told you in many lives, I listen to everybody. So there's a particular YouTube video you want to look up called, so it's Teal Swan, Male Containment. Yesterday I did a live on how many of us are the man of the house as women, and it's not easy, and it's not good for us for long term. It's not sustainable. And when I say men, I say men. Or in some same gender, there are dynamics where one is the feminine and one's the masculine. In energy. Okay, energy. Who gives what to the other? In energy. But being heterosexual myself, I talk more about heterosexual connections, but I don't and will never disavow the beauty of same gender partnerships. They are as powerful, and in some cases, to be honest, more powerful than many heterosexual marriages and unions, to be honest, just so you know. But so when I speak in these terms, I have to speak about what I daily experience, obviously, right? And that may be politically incorrect for some of you, but honestly, I don't give a shit. So the light energy, exactly. Be humble and grateful, exactly. Thank you, Jennifer. So, yeah, we're going to have to get more comfortable with just being straight up. And you can always do, like I said, just warn them you're about to be politically incorrect and just then say your truth. And then you can articulate it better once it's on the table. Ultimately, Thanksgiving is coming. Election is coming. That should be a fun shit show. Let's see what happens with that fucking system. I did repost something on the Electoral College, which you may want to look at from, I think she was a Harvard graduate. Check it out. She's a beautiful young girl. Breaking down how that happened. There are shifts and changes that were being asked for. America is going through the growing pains. It is now a 15-year-old teenager. It's going through growing spurts. It's very uncomfortable. Remember the guys that you went to high school with and they were 5'5", and then you got the following after the summer you came back and they were like 6'2"? Yeah, that's not fucking easy shit. That must hurt. So, in a sense, that's what this country is going through. And it's now asking the right fucking question. So yeah, you better be politically incorrect if you're a patriot. You better start pushing people to think if you're a patriot, if you love this country, if you feel like this country has the potential to be great. And I love that Kennedy is talking about health. And the pictures from the 1970s and today. Yeah, that's a fucking shocker. And I remember Jim in the 70s. It was fucking brutal. Fucking brutal. They'd have us running a mile, fucking doing push-ups, sit-ups. Holy fuck. I hated Jim. Then I ended up joining a track team and we were running stairs for an hour running stairs. Okay, so yeah, we were in shape. And we had amazing cardio strength, right? And what the fuck happened? Like, well, how are we normalizing things that make us vulnerable? I mean, most people can't even run for their lives. If they even had to, they can't run. That's not good. How's that good? Oh, well, let's be politically correct. No, it's not. It's not good. It's not normal. It's not healthy. And that's where we have to get to as a people. So yeah, there's a lot of politically incorrect shit that needs to start we need to start pulling down the fucking curtains of bullshit that have pacified us, made us into apathetic, fear-filled, people controlled by petty tyrants. They're petty and they're tyrants. So I hope this helped. I'm going to let you go. I'll do another live soon. Actually, today, I cheated a gym. How the fuck do you cheat a gym? You can't cheat a gym. How could you possibly cheat a gym? Listen, I don't know how you did it, but I never cheated a gym because there was no way to cheat a gym. They told you to do this and you better do it. And you either passed or you didn't pass. It was that simple. I'm like fascinated by that one. Cheated a gym. How the hell do you do that? But today you can totally cheat a gym because gym's a joke. It's a complete joke. But I have to say that I have memories. Like one of the classes in gym that we could have was jazz dancing, which was amazing. That was my favorite thing. That I loved. But the rest of the other that was tough. That was tough for me. I mean, I still can't do a pull-up. Cut corners or had my period every other week. Okay, gotcha. Wow, you are a hustler. Anyway, listen, I'm going to send you much love. I want to ask you to share this live when it's on YouTube. Go on my Linktree profile and you will find the link to the YouTube channel, or go on YouTube and look for Sacred Intimacy Tarot. It'll come up. You'll see me. You'll see the art. And if you want a reading, go to www.tony, Toni Barca, Barca, and .com and fill out an intake form. I will never hustle you. I will never connect with you on TikTok. I will never send you a message saying I love your energy. I'll give you a reading. I had a couple people again hit up my son, asking him for, telling him, oh, I can't offer you a reading, not knowing that he's my son. Obviously, they didn't know that was the account. And so I have to warn you again. And so please don't get hustled. I will always do a pre-call that lasts 10 minutes where we chat about your intentions. If you want to do hypnotherapy, Akashic reading, twin flame, starseed reading, whatever you want. And I will talk to you for 10 minutes. Why? Well, because I want to make sure I'm the right fit for you, and vice versa. Or do I want to work with you? I know that sounds insane because I could rack up the money, to be honest. But I want to make sure that we have a nice partnership, and that I'm going to be a benefit to you, because I don't want to take on karma by just taking your money. I want to make sure that this is going to be good for you and you're going to get a lot out of it. So that's the reason why I do it. Or else I could have a calandria and you guys could just hit me up with $150 or whatever the hell I charge, and I would just call you on the day of booking, right? So I don't do that for a reason. It's not because I'm not savvy in technology. It's because I want to make sure that karmically we're fit for each other. Okay, so make sure not to get hustled, please. And I will talk to you soon. I might actually do a live tonight where we'll have fun and we'll do some shit. Okay, track hurdles, running. Holy shit. Yeah, that's my son. He loves that. Get a reading, people. Thank you, Jennifer. That's very sweet of you. All right, my loves. I will see you soon. This will be uploaded. This particular live, please share it, because this is about abuse, injustice, ascension, fearlessness, irreverence, and our mission. Okay? Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste. Be well.